Across the store, standing in front of a display of sparkling, elegant rings, was Sebastian. His attention was completely absorbed in the shimmering array before him, his brow furrowed as he studied each option with keen interest. A strange warmth prickled at the edges of Lily's chest as she stood frozen in place, her gaze fixed on him. The air felt charged as if the moment had inexplicably slowed. She hesitated, then stepped forward, a smile forming naturally on her lips, her voice lifting with feigned lightness as she broke the silence. "Sebastian, what a pleasant surprise," she said, her words sweet yet laced with an edge she couldn't entirely control. Sebastian turned toward her, his smile bright, warm, and far too candid. A soft blush crept into his cheeks as his voice rang out easy and sure. "Yes, indeed," he said, gesturing toward the display with excitement. "I'm picking out a ring for Sicil." Lily's heart lurched. The words hit her like a sudden wave, and her initial burst of joy for her friend bubbled up before she could shove it down. Without giving herself time to overthink, she offered her help, stepping beside him as they browsed the glittering selection. Their laughter came easily, their shared thoughts about setting styles and preferences feeling light and uncomplicated. But just as they exchanged smiles, a sudden movement caught her attention. The sound of a door creaking followed by footsteps, and then there they were. Richard and Rose entered the store, their presence slicing through the moment like an unexpected gust of wind. Lily's stomach twisted. Richard's sharp gaze found her immediately, his brow knitting as he shifted his attention between her and Sebastian. His voice broke the calm, loud enough that it drew attention from nearby shoppers. "What a coincidence, Lily!" he exclaimed, his tone both startled and teasing. His gaze flickered between her and Sebastian as he hesitated mid-question. "Are you—" Before Richard could finish, Lily stepped in swiftly, her voice cutting through with practiced nonchalance. "Richard, Rose, meet Sebastian," she said with an almost mischievous glint in her eyes, her smile bright and smooth as she gestured toward him. "You know, Richard, Sebastian and I went to the same school together." Sebastian turned toward them, his smile as polite as it was unaware. His handshake came easily. "Nice to meet you both," he said, extending his hand with an easy smile. Lily continued with smooth, effortless charm, as though none of her nerves lingered just beneath the surface. "Sebastian, this is my brother Richard, and Rose is my soon-to-be sister-in-law." Richard's brow stayed furrowed, his sharp glance darting between the two of them. "Really? I didn't know you knew each other from your school days. Funny. Small world," he mused, his voice laced with suspicion. Lily forced herself to smile wider, trying to mask the sudden tension she felt creeping into her words. "Yes, it's been ages. Funny how life works, huh?" Richard shook Sebastian's hand warmly, his smile coming easily now. "Nice to meet you too, Sebastian. Would be great to have you at the wedding. It'll be a beautiful day, and it would be lovely if you could join us," he said with finality. Sebastian nodded, his smile gracious but composed, his cheeks still faintly flushed. "Thank you, Richard. I'd be honored." Before the exchange could linger, Richard's gaze fell on the delicate ring Lily was holding in her hand. His voice rang out again, more casual this time, but with undertones of scrutiny. "Well, in that case, we'll let you get back to your shopping. Rose and I are here to pick out our rings," he said, his words light but deliberate. "Congratulations again," Sebastian added smoothly, his smile a little tighter now. Richard's eyes flickered toward the ring and he added, "Don't let me stop you from finalizing that. It's very pretty, I must say. See you at the wedding, Sebastian." "Sure, Richard," Sebastian said politely, his tone steady but his expression shadowed by a hint of doubt. Something about the interaction didn't sit well with him. As Richard and Rose made their way toward the counter, Lily's heart was a storm of nerves. She suddenly felt trapped, her voice trembling as if she could barely think. As soon as Richard and Rose left the store, "I just realized I've got a ton of work waiting for me," she blurted out, her tone just a little too rushed. Sebastian raised an eyebrow, his gaze sharp, searching her face for the truth. "Are you sure everything's okay?" His voice was soft, his concern genuine. Lily forced herself to nod, her smile all smooth edges, Oh, of course. Just unexpected things piling up. Nothing to worry about. Sebastian hesitated, his gaze lingering on her for a beat too long. All right. Take care of yourself. Let me know if you need help, okay? Thank you, Sebastian. I'll catch up with you soon, she managed, her voice catching just a little as she slipped out of the store. The sound of the little bell overhead chimed as she stepped out into the cool night air. Her heart felt too heavy as she made her way toward the dimly lit street. The deceptive calm outside did nothing to quell the storm inside. Turning the corner, she froze, her breath caught. There, just as her unease predicted, was Sicil. The tension between them was palpable as Sicil approached the store. Lily greeted her politely, her voice light, but Sicil returned the gesture with only a neutral, careful nod. Suspicion lingered in the air between them, unspoken, unresolved. Inside the store, Sebastian's attention had shifted again. His face lit up at the sight of Sicil, her presence sudden yet somehow familiar. His voice was bright, as if he were attempting to maintain normalcy. "What took you so long, Sicil?" he asked, his tone casual, but his words loaded with an undercurrent of uncertainty. "Traffic," she said simply, her voice even as her eyes darted subtly across the store. She couldn't shake the feeling that something about Lily's quick exit had been off. There was an unease, a connection just beyond her reach. Sebastian, always one to maintain composure, changed the subject with practiced ease. "So, what do you think about earrings?" Sicil laughed softly, her gaze dropping momentarily to a delicate necklace on display. I guess it depends. I've always liked things subtle, delicate designs, simple but elegant." But to Sicil, the conversation felt layered, like pieces of a puzzle she couldn't quite complete. She glanced again at Sebastian, her mind clouded with half-formed doubts. Sicil chuckled softly, her eyes sparkling. Well, it matches my daisy pendant perfectly. I've always been fond of delicate designs, something subtle yet elegant." Outside the store, Lily watched the scene unfold, her heart heavy with the burden of deception. Despite her tangled emotions, she found herself oddly comforted by the normalcy of Sebastian and Sicil's interaction. Guilt clawed at her. "What mess have I just stepped into?" she thought. The tangled web of secrets, half-truths, suspicions, and misunderstandings grew stronger. Lily could feel it, an inevitability. She resolved silently to fix things before they become a bigger mess. But she didn't know how or when.